everyone, it's Kamal Fernandez here from Kamal Fernandez Dog Training, and in a follow-up to my live that I did discussing how to uplift people, how to be positive in some challenging times, I thought I would reach out to my peers, people that I call, oh, hey Milo, hey, friends, and people that are already very prevalent in social media and online training, and people that I respect as dog trainers in the reinforcement-based community, to discuss the ways in which we can be proactive in this testing time. And the person I have, as you probably have deduced, is the infamous Denise Fenzi, friend, and technically she's my boss. The accountant's just walked out the room, but the money man, the person I really like, has just walked out the room. But Denise, of the Fenzi Dog Sport Academy, who I have taught for it's almost since its beginning, wasn't it? Was it 2012? When did we start? When did you start?
Oh my gosh, I think it's been 7 years. Has it been that long though? Man, that's amazing.
Yeah. It just goes like that, Denise, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. So I thought what I would do is have this conversation with Denise and share it with those of you online, and we'll obviously share it on the Fenzi site, to discuss the current climate that we're in. This is not something that any of us have experienced before, this global pandemic and global change in our circumstances and what we can and can't do, and ways in which we can be proactive and positive. So those of us that gravitate to positive dog training, it is more than just being nice to our dogs. It's ways in which we can be positive not only to each other and also to the communities and as I say, I teach online for Denise. I have my own online entity, and I know a lot of people are gravitating to online training as a medium to try and, work through this issue. And I thought I would reach out to several people to discuss all things that we can in relation to this conversation. So thank you, Denise, for your time. I really do appreciate it. I know you're very busy. Obviously, you're on lockdown. So just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kamal. I think it's super important that we be working together right now.
Absolutely.
So my county was the first one to lock down in the United States. We've had a number of cases here. We're not nearly as bad as Washington State, but they're not locking down. California is. So what it means is I have to stay home. I can go out to grocery shop. They sort of encourage you to get in, get out. So we went grocery shopping and bought enough food for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
We're not hoarding, we're avoiding going out.
Yeah.
So we stocked up on dog food and people stuff, doing a lot of Amazon shopping for, random things that occur to you after the fact.
Yeah.
We are allowed to leave our houses for outdoor exercise. So the idea is that when you're outside, you keep good space from people and you need to move your body. Yeah. So that means I can walk my dogs.
Yeah.
I've always walked my dogs, so that's not really a change. I'm of course making some minor changes about where I go, but because of where I live, I can stay with 100-foot distance easily from anyone. There's no trouble at all.
Yeah.
So that piece hasn't changed. The hard part, the weird part is not being able to stop and just talk to people, which I do. I'm super social. I talk to everybody. Not being able to, I've always tried at least once a day to get out. I mean, just get out where people are. Because when you work online, it's really easily to become isolated if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So trying to avoid that. So I guess that's what it is. I'm incredibly grateful and fortunate that I've already been working online. So that piece is not a big transition for me.
Yep.
What is a big transition is I worry, I worry about my staff. Many of them rely on income from in-person dog training and from seminars.
Yep.
And that's gone. There's no more of that.
Yep.
I worry about the students. Many of them are really struggling in many ways, financially, socially. So I think there's just sort of a low-level worry going on for everyone, sort of regardless of how they're affected. And so that's why I'm really glad to do the kinds of things. I mean, I would always do this with you anyway, but I think right now it's super important that we be finding ways to make sure everybody's taken care of in all ways, including being emotionally secure and having things to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think that was my premise. And, obviously this is something that none of us has faced before. So it's like, well, what is it? What can we do as individuals, or to certainly be proactive. And the first thing that really came to my mind was the phrase, a rising tide raises, or whichever the phrase is. Basically, if we all club together, if we, rather than thinking about how can I survive, rather than going, right, okay, what can we do as a community, and we all pull together to lift each other up, then we can all get through this in a way that's productive for everybody. So I did a live in which I said to people, look, I have an understanding of the online entity. Obviously, I've worked for Fenzi, I've done my own thing, so I know some of the pros and cons of the ways to, say, for example, deliver a class online or do a webinar online. What's the various mediums that you can use to try and make that easy? Because I'm sure Denise will echo this, that actually, if you were to say, right, I'm going to start a Fenzi Dog Training Academy tomorrow, it would be a hell of a lot of work to do it on that way, as I'm sure you'll echo. But there is simple things like Facebook groups you can do, start a little Facebook community, of your clients and reach out to them that way. You can do lots and lots of stuff online in a much more, shall we say, conservative manner to help you not only stay in contact with your clients, but to maybe generate a little bit of revenue. What are your thoughts on that, Denise?
We're actually strongly encouraging those conversations. So like if you've done anything with our organization, with Fenzi, then you're eligible for our online groups. So for example, we have a Facebook group called FDSA, Pet Professionals Program Alumni. And I keep telling them, let's talk about these things. What are you doing? I know a Facebook Live was done in that group with Melissa Bro, who works for us, and Michael Bedale and Jamie, his wife, where they're talking about how do you set up an online program? What are your options? So this is the time to be, in my opinion, for most pet dog trainers, online is not the long-term way to go. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
But this isn't long-term. This is short-term.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You don't want to lose those clients. You want to keep them. You want to be talking to them. You want to engage them in any ways you can.
Yeah.
So if you go there to those lists, ask your questions. Ask people, what are you doing? What programs are you using?
Yeah.
Let's get through this, right? Let's all get together.
Yeah.
And also another thing people should think about, if you have more time than money, which is where many people will be right now, you should be thinking about your marketing. You should be thinking about your bigger picture dog training situation when this is over. So this is the time to be getting your strategy in place. Clean up your website. Make things happen for the future, because people are always telling me, I don't have time for marketing. So, okay, fine. You don't have time for marketing normally because you're working. If you're not working now, then what are you doing so that when we come out the other side? So you don't want to sit home. I understand the panic. I understand a lot of people are a little bit paralyzed, So if you can, even for a half an hour a day in the morning and a half an hour in the evening, work on your strategy. So when you come out the other side, you are ahead and you won't feel so panicky if you're doing things. So think about that. This is your chance to get your business in line.
Yep, absolutely. That's great advice. So in terms of marketing things, simple marketing tips that you can, because obviously you've been in this medium to deliver dog training for, a pretty decent amount of time. You've obviously been successful in what you do. What are things that people can start off with, like tomorrow? Literally, they can get, what is it, simple things that they can do? Obviously, you mentioned there, look at your website and clean it up, make it a little bit more, look at it from the user's point of view and make it streamlined, make it user-friendly, make it eye-catching, all that simple stuff. What are other things that people could do to help themselves in this situation?
The number one thing I would do, if I was you, get yourself a video camera or a cell phone and learn how to take videos. Because when I go in public and train a dog, I can't tell you how many people walk up to me and say, are you a professional dog trainer? How do you train a dog? People love that beyond reason. So polish up your dog training skills, get your best dog, teach it some cool things, get out a video camera and put up video. That is what people will remember. And that is what is going to get them coming back and contacting you. Because I've noticed the really successful dog trainers that I have seen kind of in the online space, like Facebook and such, they're training dogs. They are out there training dogs, and they can show cool things with their dogs. I have a local friend who's a trainer, and he says he's a good trainer. And he says anytime he's a little low on business, he just throws a video up on Facebook, promotes it to his local area, and he has 5 more clients.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the number one thing I would do. Take this time to work on your training skills, get something good, get your dog doing something cool, put up a video. And cool, let's talk about cool. Cool is relative. If it takes you 3 cues to get a behavior, other dog trainers might have an opinion, but pet people don't.
Yeah.
If you say spin 3 times and your dog does a quick spin, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And then you tell people, here's how I taught that.
Yeah.
Don't get weird. Don't get complex. This isn't the time to bring out the clicker and start saying, get a cookie and make that spin happen, right? Give people something to try and then say, now you go home and teach your dog to spin. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Get your personality in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good one.
You know, don't get dry.
Yeah. I think that's a huge, one of the things that I've massively learned from online training and you know, getting an online personality is be yourself. Be authentic. Be yourself. Don't try and be Denise Fenzi. Don't try and to be Kamal Fernandez. Just be yourself, and the people will absolutely gravitate to you. I think that's a massive thing. Is, you know, when you see people over stylized or being too like glitz, I think to me it just reeks of you know, non-authentic, or it just puts me off of anything. I think if looking beyond this, and I think Denise raised a really good point about this is. Although we are in the midst of it at the moment, we're in the midst of the storm is going to pass. We are going to all come through this. The aftermath, we might have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off, but we are going to move through this. We need to be looking at, let's create not just people that are going to come and leave us. You want to create a community and be genuine and be authentic in what you do. To me, that's really, really important in certainly in this industry, because I think what's going to happen is you're going to see everybody's going to be popping up offering some sort of online training, and the key is to be yourself within a very, very potentially competitive arena, so to speak. Would you agree, Denise?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not even that there's one personality type that does well as a dog trainer. You know, you can be incredibly serious.
Yeah.
But serious doesn't necessarily mean dry.
Yeah.
It just means that you're just, and actually I am a pretty serious person, which I don't know that most people get that, but I have a really serious way. And if you're lighter, you should be that. And at the end of the day, you will attract people who you do well with anyway, which in my opinion has huge benefit. I think it's easy, especially for a novice trainer, to just try to get anyone and everything. And that is a route to misery, because 10% of your clients give you 90% of your grief.
Yeah.
And part of that grief isn't necessarily the client or you. Sometimes it's just a bad match.
Yeah.
So if they think you're going to be one way and you're a different way, maybe you attracted the wrong person.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said for be your best self.
Yep.
Who are you?
Yep.
Put out your best self. Show what you can do with a dog.
Yep.
This is your chance to show what you can do with a dog.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge thing is, you know, you in my opinion, when it comes to social media and online training, it's to be genuine and to show who and what you are, because you will ultimately, like in all things in life, is you will attract the right energy. Rather than having 100 people that go, yes, we're going to come and look at, you might have 10 or 15 people, but those people are going to be people that you connect with and they connect with you, and you're going to have a lasting relationship that's actually going to go beyond this. So that's a really, really important thing. And it will also create loyalty and commitment from you to them. If you like working with somebody and you have there's, you know, Denise will vouch for me on this. I do handler's choice on the Fenzi Dog Sports Academy. I have serial handler's choice people. I love teaching them. I love teaching those core people because they're like my regulars. We have a relationship. I've known their dogs since puppies, you know, I've known them with several dogs. So we have a really intense connection, which means then I can bring my best A game because I know them, they know me, I know their dogs, etc. So we, you know, now we're like several years in with some of them, with several dogs in with some of them. That to me is my real niche area, and I think that took me a little bit of time to really get that. I think with all of us, to find your real core people that go, yes, I'm gonna, you know, subscribe to Kamal's stuff, I'm gonna do Denise's stuff, I'm gonna do Hannah's stuff or Shade stuff, you know. And I think once you get that core people around you that gravitate, and that is a little bit of a trial and error process, but I think what helps is being genuine from the get-go.
Yeah, actually, you said something. When I was teaching, I don't teach in person anymore, but when I had lessons on a regular basis at my house, and, you know, I had the same people for years. And what that means is I had no marketing budget because I didn't need a marketing budget because I had no turnover. And in terms of how I spent my time, I was way more interested in spending my time training dogs than trying to get clients.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for trying to get those people, even pet people, don't underestimate them.
Yeah.
If you get the right people who love their dogs, it's just your job to come up with ways to keep them happy and busy. And you might be amazed, because I've told many a person, no, you think you're a pet person. You're not a pet person. You just think you are.
Yeah.
You just haven't found your inner dog person yet.
Yeah.
Because we all started out somewhere. We all started out as a pet person.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is essentially we're all really dog trainers. It's the level of which we dog train too. Some of us dog train obsessively, and multiple dogs. Some people just train that one particular dog, but it might be to go to bed or to sit when they're told. But it's all dog training, and that's the thing to remind ourselves. And it's to reach out and connect with people that have the same ethos. There's again, just to reiterate, it's when you are considering doing online training, my advice certainly is to be genuine and authentic, and also don't try and a really good sound piece of advice that I received is create your subject matter an inch wide but a mile deep. Rather than trying being a master of everything, you'll spread yourself too thin. Know your lane and dedicate yourself to that niche area. There is so many people out there doing so many things. If you try and cover everything, you'll do it poorly. You'll do a really good job of doing it badly, because you'll be trying to over tax yourself rather than just going, do you know what, my niche area is X, Y, and Z. Really focus on that and commit yourself to doing that to the best of your ability.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. And anyway, if I had a problem, like a behavior problem, and I went to a website that says I'm an aggression specialist, and that's what I do, I'd be like, oh, that's what I need. As opposed to, I do separation anxiety, aggression, resource guard. I mean, if he goes on and on, it's not that I won't go to that person. But if I had two websites side by side and one says the only thing I do is fill in the blank, competition dog training, or puppies, or, and I understand you got to do what you got to do to make money and get a business. But find what you love, because you'll do it but well. And over time, if you can narrow your focus, you're going to be happier. You're going to provide a better service.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, let's go back to dog training then. So what you have posted lots of stuff online where you train Burrito and Lyra and Wink even in very, very limited space. So I know you do, I think, how long did you have Wink for? Was it about a week or two? Was it a couple of weeks? You did a whole.
It was called 8 Days of Wink. So I had her 8 or 9 days.
Okay, so you and again you didn't really go in. You didn't go to a big field, or you didn't have masses of space, or you did everything was very concise and what, for want of a better term, shorthand. So just give us a couple of simple things that you can do in the home to the skills that you could work. I mean, we could be here forever talking about skills, but little things that your little go-to skills that you can do in the small spaces or limited space.
So one thing, if somebody goes online and looks up Fenzi team titles, you will find 10 exercises. All of them are designed to be done in your house for the first level. So they are tiny foundation things like pivoting on a disc, getting on a platform, the first step of holding an object. All of that stuff is done in your house and really wears your dog's brain down, which is, I'm amazed at how much 10 minutes of training time exhausts one of my dogs. If I'm paying attention, on top of it, working the dog hard, keeping up that movement, sitting right in my house, then the dog takes a good nap. The Fenzi team titles, though, this is the time to be looking at that program. And if you like it, go online and join the group Fenzi Team Players. Because if you show up and say, oh my goodness, I'm brand new, where do I even start? I guarantee you people are going to leap up and help you get started. It's not,
absolutely.
It's very warm.
That's a really, really, I think one of the things that you've done incredibly well is to nurture a community spirit within all of the Fenzi related groups. Even the staff group, I'd say there is a real strong affinity, peership, whatever you want to call it, where everybody definitely, and that is most definitely that is being created consciously by you. You can see that throughout the whole vein of, a supportive spirit, about how people engage with some. Again, like I said at the opening of this conversation, being positive, for want of a better term, isn't just about giving your dog a cookie or giving it a treat. It's about how we conduct ourselves, and that's something that you definitely nurtured. So anybody that is dubious about starting, because I think a lot of the feedback I've had is people are going to lack motivation in this time to, well, there's no trials, there's no competitions. You can absolutely, the Fenzi team stuff is fantastic for keeping that training mojo up and giving you things to aim for. Again, the community is incredibly supportive, and those 10 basic skills that you can are great things that you can do in this time span that will also, when you go out in the real world, so to speak, they're going to give you fantastic foundations to fall back on and to develop. And also, if you haven't experienced dogs, it's homing those little details, because that's all you ever do is home details, work back, go backwards and forward with any dog. So that's really, really great. So the other thing is, you've had a curveball. Normally Denise runs a camp. Is it in May normally every year?
May or June. This year it was June, early June.
Okay, cool. And obviously that's been put by because of the restrictions across the globe. But Denise, being Denise, went, okay, how do I make the best of this situation? And she's come up with a fantastic idea. So the other sideline to that conversation was was it Karen Pryor's academy that they were running there? Was it Karen Pryor?
Well, they were running one that canceled around the time we canceled. They were in process. They were at the camp when they called it.
Wow.
IAABC is the organization we ended up
teaming up.
I reached out to Margie, and we probably had too many drinks. Sitting there on Facebook going, the world is ending. What are we gonna do?
I have this great idea. It always starts with alcohol, but good for you, Denise.
It does, but kind of first we just felt good and sorry for ourselves, a camp is a big deal. When you're a conference, you put a lot of money into it. You put a lot of time into it. There's so much there. And we both at the same time kind of recognized that we actually both canceled before we had to, because if you're paying attention, if you're looking at the charts, if you were paying attention to what was happening in the world, you didn't need anyone to tell you where this was going. You didn't need an outside force to say this is the right thing to do. You just had to pay attention, and it was kind of a no-brainer in my book that of course I have to cancel camp. I can't go forward. So we had a pity party, we started there. And then after a half hour of feeling sorry for ourselves, we said, all right, what are we going to do? And that's when we decided, you know what, we're going to make lemonade out of these lemons. And that's when we went ahead and decided to set up a huge conference, which would be highly accessible to people around the world, which is why you're in this thing, right? So I'm teaching something, you're teaching something. I think we have 30 people more, maybe. It's huge. It's incredible. The energy coming from all sides. The presenters are like, absolutely, I want to do this. I think this is important. The students, we spent a lot of money trying to figure out the finances. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that people are hurting. And again, from both sides, IABC and FDSA, the number one priority is education. We are going to make this an educational event. That is going to happen. And we went in with an agreement that if money was lost, that's okay. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes what matters is just different. Even though we're a business, they're nonprofit, we're for profit, but sometimes you just have to look beyond, you have to look long-term, you have to see what the world needs. And this is something we can do. And so we're going to do it. And it's going to be memorable. And 10 years from now, people are going to look back and say, that was a bright spot when I needed a bright spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was, when I was asked to do it, it was a no-brainer, just for the very things that you've said, in that, in these times, it isn't about, now, like I said, then this is what has inspired me to do these reach out to people and get some information because you can do what you can in these situations. So, for example, I'm able to reach out to, several high profile people and help them because I qualify them as friends, and I can, glean from them and share with you that information and open myself up in that sphere. Denise is going to use her platform, and she's, absolutely, it just speaks volumes that she reached out to everybody, and, for me, it was a no-brainer to go, what can I do to help? This is fantastic. People have, when looking, the camp's a big deal to everybody. It's like an annual pilgrimage. It's like it's their Glastonbury type thing. People from across the whole of the states and sometimes abroad go to the camp. It's huge. And obviously for the other association, it was a huge loss to them, and it's all kudos to you for taking the bull by the horns and saying, do you know what, we're going to turn this round. And like you say, the energy that's starting to amass around it is it's really quite inspiring to see people step up and go, do you know what, this is beyond just me as an individual prospering. This is about helping each other. And the thing that I keep on thinking about with this whole coronavirus thing is it really does show people who you are in these times, isn't it, really? And I think yes, we can dwell on the negativity, but I think the thing is also there's some amazing things that are happening as a result of people being, who are you, who do you want to be? And I think that's what really the Lemonade conference has really shown. So just give us the dates, Denise, and how people can sign up.
Looks like I think it's May 23rd, 24th, 25. Yep. It's for the United States. It's Memorial Day weekend. It runs 16 hours a day. Wow. That was done specifically so that people everywhere in the world had at least 8 hours of awake time to come and join us. Yep. So it'll be webinar format style. So the recordings, the presenter will be there with you. The recording will be pre-recorded because we get better quality that way. They will be available to answer questions after the presentation. There will be 2 classrooms running at a time. So if you are more interested in one topic than the other, you could go to the other classroom. Mm-hmm. But 16 hours a day, you will be able to play. You will be able to come in there and chat with those presenters and be a part of it. We will also record all those recordings. Will go into a library for you after the fact, because of course you can't sit there 16 hours a day. Yep. So if you sign up, then what will happen is for the next year, you can, whenever you want, go in there and pull out, I think there's 48 presentations. Wow. The actual cost presentation is absurdly cheap. It's like less than $4 a presentation. Wow. Don't even know how that translates, but it's probably pretty close to your pound. Yeah. The value is incredible. Yeah. This is being done because it's something we need right now. Yeah. And that's what I want you to think about. The price, the full price is $179 early bird. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm guessing here, I think it's $229 after that. Mm-hmm. But the more important thing is that if that's a struggle for you, if that's not going to work, there are going to be significant and generous scholarships available. Amazing. That has not been released yet, but it will be. They are financially need-based. If you're struggling, you're going to ask us for it, and you're going to get it. But you just have to let us know you're out there and you need it, and we're going to help you out. That's super, super important. I don't want to find out people did not attend because of money. I want you to be there if this is something you want. We're giving very discounts to shelter workers, to rescue societies, to people who were trying to attend our camps. There's lots of ways. Yeah. Lots of ways you can get a little extra help. That is not open yet. The website is being made furiously with great speed. We are putting this website together. Everything is fast. And on that website, when it comes out, you can sign up on the mailing list right now. It's the lemonadeconference.com. Go there, put your name in there so that when the time comes, we can notify you. Registration is open. We'll open on April 6th, but it'll give you the link. It will give you the link to the discount codes. It will give you the link to the scholarship fund. So April 6th would be the big day, but right now is when you want to get on that mailing list, because Facebook is weird and you can't rely on Facebook to notify you of things happening. It only shows a certain percentage. So make sure you get on that mailing list. And we are also working on how to make the community come around this event. And I really like what I'm seeing out there. in terms of people saying, yeah, this is good. We're going to make this happen.
Yeah, that's amazing. So just to qualify, it isn't just because although Fenzi Dog Sport Academy is a lot of it is dog sports, this is beyond that, isn't it? This is for everybody out there. It's pet dog training, it's behavioral stuff, it's sports stuff. It's a really, really diverse conference, isn't it?
Absolutely, because our side is dog sports and behavior. As you know, we do dog sports, behavior, fitness, and such. IAABC, the International Association of Animal Behavior Consultants, something like that. Their big thing, they're behavior folks, and they're pretty high-end behavior. So there's going to be tons of presentations about aggression, dog bites, things like separation issues, enrichment activities for shelter dogs. There's a nice range of possibilities. So if you're in the dog world, there is something there for you. Absolutely.
So just a quick, so obviously you're speaking, I'm speaking, who else is on from the Fenzi side, and then some of the other conferences, just a couple of them, just to let people know.
I know the other side has Bob Bailey's coming in, Susan Friedman is coming in. We brought in from the outside, FDSA brought in Suzanne Clothier.
Yep.
So I know she's a fun one for many of us. I'm speaking. Hannah is speaking for our obedience
Hannah Brannigan.
folks.
Yep.
Hannah Brannigan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on a first name basis, with these people. So
that's amazing. Some real big superstar names in what we do. That's amazing. So I think that's definitely, so I will what I will do when I post this video is I will share the link so that everybody can sign up to the mailing list, so you can get the information as soon as it comes out. But that is going to be incredible. So 23rd, 24th and 25th of May, I think it is, isn't it? So in the States, it's Memorial Weekend. In the UK, I don't think we have any specific dates off the top of my head that I can remember. I'm not very good with that stuff, so don't quote me. But 23rd, 24th, and 25th of May. And, that's something to focus on, something to look forward to, and something to really, really be part of. I mean, just who's speaking at that conference is going to be absolutely epic.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible, the topics. I mean, it's so exciting to me. And nobody said no.
Wow.
Nobody said no.
They
all said yes. The only reason we lost any people is because they had other things already scheduled and that they couldn't work. But nobody said no, which says so much in a positive way about our community.
Yeah.
There is one other thing I want to mention.
Go on.
If anybody's hurting right now, Fenzi Dog Sports Academy does always offer scholarships for the bronze level, always. Mm-hmm. So if you want to come and watch Kamal do his handler's choice or any of the classes, if you need a scholarship, it's going to make it half price. Those apply at the bronze level. You should apply right now because this is when we're giving them out. Again, we are extremely generous. I'm not the least bit interested in seeing your financial statements. Mm-hmm. If you tell us you're hurting right now and you need some help, you'll get a scholarship. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And it is half price then. So if you've got the time and not the money and you have $32.50, come join us at the bronze level. You will adopt a community. You will get a good class. You can go join the study group for that class and have a teaching assistant to help you out if you get stuck. Make this work for you because we're going to have some tough times and they may go on for a little while.
Yep.
So let's make this work.
Excellent. So that's just to explain to everybody. So Fenzi, those of you that aren't familiar with Fenzi, as I previously explained, Denise runs a amazing school of a huge eclectic mix of dog trainers from across the world that and we deliver training on various topics. Mine is obviously obedience stuff. You have agility people and nose work people and scent work, and there's a whole smorgasbord. And there is 3 levels of access that you can gain. So you can gold is where you can receive feedback from me via videos. So you post videos. Each class runs to 6 weeks, and they start on the 1st of every month. It runs for 6 weeks, and you can post X amount of videos and get feedback from an instructor. Silver is where you can partake in discussions, but you can't post videos. And the golds are limited in how many we take on. silver I think is limited as well, but bronze is unlimited, and bronze is such a great value for money anyway. So bronze is where you can subscribe to a class and you can essentially audit. So you get to watch everybody else's feedback and watch their videos. You see the discussions. Bronze can post on the discussion. I can never get this right. Can they post questions? Bronze?
No, but they can go to the discussion group on Facebook and post both video and questions and get help.
Yeah, so you can partake in the group once you've subscribed to the relevant. So, for example, I have my Fenzi alumni group who post videos and they internally get feedback, etc. So it is an amazing, medium of which to learn. I mean, I've had literally across the globe, my students vary from the UK, America, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. I've taught them probably in that country or that continent, certainly. And it's largely thanks to, again, it's Denise's brainchild. And as she was explaining, they offer a scholarship to those that need one, basically. A few questions asked, but if you are genuine and you need some help, then reach out, get a scholarship. Certainly, that is something to definitely look into. That's amazing, Denise. So, from your point of view, you're busy with obviously trying to get the Lemonade conference off the ground. How are you passing your time of day? Because you live, obviously, your husband and 2 teenage sons. So, how's that working out for you at the moment? Anybody died yet? Anybody been throttled?
Yeah, I'm hoping I still have 2 teenage sons on the other side of this. It's tough, My older son is working from home to the best of his ability. The young one is really struggling with the understanding the why.
Yeah.
When you're 15, you don't want to hear that you don't get to do what you want to do. So his schooling is from home.
Yeah.
So he is in his bedroom right now, schooling, studying his classes.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time online anyway, so reaching out to instructors and working with students and organizing the conference and meetings like this, big part of my day. The dog will in about 2 hours start complaining, so then he's going to get a little session. So we're all just kind of getting through. I'm reading a lot. I'm reading a lot more than I usually do.
Yeah.
So we're getting through.
So just on a sideline, how are you managing with your, obviously you can still walk your dogs. Is there a change in because one of the things is about socializing, how do people get around socializing, but also how are you managing with the change in dynamics? Would you normally have your sons at home, would both of them live at home with you and be that with your dogs? How does that all factor in quickly before we...
The thing I notice is that the energy level is higher in the house. Okay. When there's more people in the house, the dogs are awake more. Every time somebody walks through, everybody gets up.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky. I only have 2 dogs. So it's not like I have a whole bunch in here, But the energy is higher. So I'm working with them more in the house, just my little stuff. They get more. Actually, it's ironic. They're getting a better run than they would normally.
Wow. Yeah, again, another little bit of silver lining. At least the dogs are getting interacted with more, which is great. I'm sure they're loving it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Denise. It's been fantastic. So much positivity there and so many exciting things on the horizon for people to get involved in and to keep them buoyant in this testing time. I really do thank you for your time, your effort and your energy in all that you do. Not just in this conversation, but beyond. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be part of Fenzi. Even when I had the conversation with Denise, I was going to start up my own online training, but I was very much, because I believe in what Fenzi does and what they're trying to do, and it's things like this that really, for me, reiterates why I want to be a part of it, because it is an organization that uplifts. It is an organization that supports, and in times like this, it really shows who and what we are. So thank you very much, Denise. You are an absolute gem. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go and train your dogs and be safe.
You too. Come on. Talk to you soon.